Hello, and welcome to the Light Institute Sunday Meditation. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is how we do it. We divide the meditation into 3 parts. The first part is the most important meditation that we could have in life, and I hope that you will do this part all day long, every time, anytime. And that is the meditation of the higher self. And so we ask our divine higher self to take a form for us so that our human consciousness can sort of recognize it and feel part of it. It could be a light or a being or a tree or an animal, a symbol. It doesn't make any difference, but something that we can connect to. And so we ask it to take form, and then we ask our higher self to touch our body. We draw it into our body, and then we sit in meditation. And now, as we sit in meditation, I will do an Om, and then you can push your pause button so that you can meditate for as long as you choose. This is the dance of technology here. The second part of the meditation is the art of radiance. We need light on this planet. We need the light of illumination. We need the light that heals and nourishes our most powerful potential self. And so we imagine that we're reaching up into the cosmos and drawing from the cosmos a brilliant beam of white light in through the top of our head and down into our stomach, our solar plexus. This is the seat of our emotional body, which needs light. And we radiate that light out from our stomach solar plexus. I like to laser it out across the planet and then back up into the sky, and then just continue drawing the light down. You can do it with your breath. That really takes you into a deep meditation. Breathe in, pull the light down, breathe out slowly. That brings you into an alpha meditative state, and laser that light out and bring it back into the cosmos, so that you're creating this energy which will be very nourishing to you on all levels. The third, and then there's an Om there, and the third meditation is where we extend an energy out into the world. And that helps us to remember that whatever the situations, we have the power of giving. We have the power of the purpose of participating in the world. Each week we choose a different situation or something to extend that light to. Since this weekend there are birthdays in my family, I would like for us to extend light to all the beings who are coming in, to all the babies that are going to be born, to the children who are here, to the higher frequencies of beings coming in that we know will serve a higher octave on our planet. So we're going to extend light then to all of those who are coming in, and the birthdays of all the children, and even ourselves, if you like. But it's that sense of being born into this planet with a purpose, with a destiny, a universal destiny. If you're ready, close your eyes. Take a deep breath into your body and breathe out very slowly. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, brings you into a meditative state. Once more, breathe in and breathe out slowly. Ask your higher self, the intuitive essence of your soul, to take a form for you. Any form, a light, a being, an animal, a tree, an equation. See what form comes. And now ask your higher self to touch your body where you hold your divine essence. Just imagine that touch anywhere in your body. Focus your consciousness onto that point in your body. Begin to breathe in and out through that point. And then draw your higher self in through that point so that your higher self is within you. that all of the trillions of cells of your body are holding that frequency, that energy, whatever form it's choosing at this moment. Om. Take a deep breath into your body and imagine that you could reach up into the brilliant cosmos and from there find a beam of light and pull it down. Feel it coming down through the top of your head, illuminating your brain, down through your face, your heart, and into your solar plexus stomach. Allow that beam of light to spread out there. Gather it up again and laser that beam of light out from you. You can laser it across the planet or just stretch it out so that you're stretching out your energy, your presence. Stretch it out and then allow it to flow back up into the cosmos and then return through the top of your head. Laser it out. Allow it to go back. And continue that. If you do it with your breath, it will create a very powerful, energetic loop. Om. Take a deep breath into your body and draw into your mind's eye the energy of all the beings who are getting ready to come onto this planet, who are in the womb, to the children, to the birthdays of all beings, to that power, that sacred energy of choosing life as a human, choosing parents, preparing in the womb all of the cosmic potentials and soul lessons, all of these beings who are really of a new and higher octave that are preparing to come in, who are in the womb, being born now, birthdays now, and all of the birthdays and even your own. And ask what frequency of light, what color will support the highest potential of being born on this planet, of realizing that each birthday that we have amplifies and refreshes the power of our potential. So just imagine that you're gathering all of those beings up and those energies and ask what frequency of light will support the highest potential of being born and birthdays. Whatever color comes into your mind, your consciousness, again, reach up into the cosmos and pull that color, that exact tone, that color down through the top of your head, down into your solar plexus, your stomach, and laser that frequency of light, that color, out to this fabulous conglomeration of fetuses, of soul energy preparing, babies in the womb, babies having birthdays, babies being born, children, yourself, all of the birthdays that are occurring on the planet at this moment and will occur, so that you're feeding that energy of life, cosmic energy, to support the purpose of our embodiment. Just allow that color to continue to flow down through you and out and into those energies. Take a deep breath into your body and open your eyes. Thank you for joining us for that meditation. And now there's a second part to our Light Institute time. It's called Knowings. And in Knowings we have questions that come for us to contemplate, for us to use our consciousness to massage and utilize in our lives, coming from around the world. And so we will open to those questions now. Allison will read them to me. Allison?
The first question is from Byron Bay, Australia.
Byron Bay, hello.
Dearest Chris, as a psychologist, I work with people who suffer severe long-term traumas. We know that long-term stress results from the trauma, damages especially the hippocampus in the brain and makes it shrink. Years down the track, this will cause memory, learning problems, and a permanently stressed nervous system. Do you have any suggestions how we can help heal the hippocampus and support it to recover? Currently, antidepressant medication is used for this treatment, but it has way too many side effects.
Absolutely. Thank you for that question, Byron Bay. Yes, there are side effects there. And that's because we, scientifically and in our need to feel that if we just put something in the body will have to respond and it'll change. Instead of seeing that we are holographic beings, yes, experiences can cause depression or anxiety, but we can move on from those experiences, not just because we've been numbed by some drug, although there are more natural substances that help the hippocampus and create a neurogenesis of the hippocampus. You can see that as this big being inside your brain that often activates negativity and anxiety, and we can influence that physically. We can give something to the brain that, instead of numbs it, supports its regeneration, its neurogenesis. For example, one of the things that I love is gotu kola, basil. There are many herbs you can look up that stimulate the hippocampus, that stimulate the brain. I love coconut oil above them all because if you have had a long state of nerve reactiveness, I love that coconut oil actually looks like the myelin sheath that covers our nervous system and protects them. And so if people take in coconut oil, natural coconut oil, it actually helps to calm the nerves. It's important to know that what's going on in our brain begins in our stomachs. A lot of those antidepressant and anxiety things have to do with blocking or changing the uptake of serotonin, which is a nerve transmitter, and it has to do with our sense of happiness, like L-DOPA. And so those two nerve generators are actually created in our intestines. So when we're talking about rebalancing our anxiety, we want to actually look at the intestines. So I know this might be a little odd for a psychologist, but we have to look at the body holographically. So instead of just putting something in, it's very important to teach your patient to ask the body, would you like coconut oil? Coconut oil actually brings back the memories that are lost when there's a shrinking of the hippopotamus. The hippocampus. I love myself. So that it can regenerate and it can swell back up and not just atrophy. So those are some of the nutrition aspects. And another one that's very important is if you want to look at the possibility of oxygen. We know that lack of oxygen can influence depression profoundly, especially anxiety or depression that seems to have no cause. It's not because of some specific memory. It's just this pushing down, because the cells become anxious if they're not getting oxygen. Without oxygen, we can't survive even minutes. And so to increase the oxygen levels in our body. There are several ways to do that. One of the most important, and scientifically it's been proved, that exercise, again, moving the blood. In Chinese medicine we say moving the blood moves the energy, so that if you're moving your energy, you won't be depressed. There's more possibility. Moving your energy pumps the blood. There's this cycle that goes on there. And so exercising creates that cycle. It stimulates the brain, and it helps the hippocampus to regenerate itself. So that's very important. And there are many ways. Breathing exercises help as well. And you can literally get more oxygen into the body. You can do that with an oxygen tank. But the easy way to do that, and you can look this up on the internet, is you can get food-grade oxygen, food-grade hydrogen peroxide, which gives the body, breaks down into oxygen in the body. You can buy that. And you can buy it at 3%. So in the drugstore you can get 3%, but you can't swallow that. But you can buy 3% food grade hydrogen peroxide and spray it in. And that will instantly uplift that oxygen level. You can use these oximeters that you put on your finger to see the level of oxygen that you have, which you want to be above 95%. And if it's not that, then you have an easy answer that says, here's a way we can release that anxiety from a cellular level. Another thing that it does that I love is that it shows your pulse rate. So we know that when the sympathetic nervous system is in play, fight or flight, your pulse will go very rapid. You can teach your patients how to actually, with their consciousness, slow down their blood pressure or their pulse. And that affects the blood pressure. It affects so many autonomic nervous system patternings in the body. And once they realize that they have that power, they could begin to apply that to, I want to be happy. I want to be relaxed. If we can have moments where we are relaxed, we will feel safe. When we feel safe, it creates a whole different cycle of consciousness, and the anxiety and the depression moves away. So again, we want to see the person holographically, nutritionally, energetically. A thing that I love that we do at the Light Institute are exercises in consciousness that influence that. For example, a person could be taught, we can teach it right now. Where am I holding anxiety in my body at this moment? And then they imagine that. Could be anywhere in their body. But once they hear that answer, they have already begun to imprint in themselves that they have the power to shift. You see, many times people who have depression or anxiety feel very vulnerable and helpless. And so these are technologies of consciousness that begin to subtly seed in them that they have power, that they can choose. So they find that place in their body. Let's do it now. Breathe in. Where are you holding any anxiety? By the way, it might not even be yours. You may have sucked it in from another person or a group of people or situations. But just allow your body to talk to you. So where is that place of anxiety in your body at this moment? Putting your consciousness there and feeling that energy. It's usually constructive. It's usually dark, sealed off. And ask that place of anxiety or depression what frequency of light, what color it needs to be released. You don't have to carry it. It doesn't have to be who you are. take the first color that comes into your consciousness and imagine that you're pulling it in, you're sucking it into your body right in that place, and command that color to wash away the anxiety. I feel this is as powerful as any drug. Wash away that anxiety until you feel a shift, perhaps a lightening, a sense of lightening, maybe even allowing yourself to relax or to feel a little happy. And now open your eyes. So, teaching your clients that they can themselves influence that. Another aspect in terms of people who do prescribe antidepressants or any other, even an herb that you take, if you hold it in your hand first and ask your body, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want it now? And you get a yes. This is teaching your patient how to take responsibility, how to feel that that person has some control over how they're feeling. And they get a yes. And then they take that, whether it's an herb, whatever it is, it will really amplify the power of it. So hopefully that's helpful. I could spend hours talking about this, but there's too much anxiety on this planet, not enough joy, not enough sense of we will get through whatever it is and go on. That's what time it is. Great love to you and to all your patients. Allison, the second question.
We don't actually know where this question is from.
Oh.
So, dear Chris, I have been a seeker for 30 years. I've heard it all. Let's say I've heard a lot. Not saying I don't believe you about reincarnation, but it's all a concept unless we can have a personal experience of what you or anyone else is saying. My question is, how can I have a personal experience instead of just believing in someone else's story?
Thank you for that. I actually really love that question. And believe me, I have heard it. I've been doing incarnational work for over 64 years, and I have heard that a lot. And so I have many holographic answers to that. First of all, I would say to you, you've been a seeker for 30 years. Have you done that by just reading and, again, listening to other people instead of finding it inside yourself? A seeker must go within, not just in your mind, but in your consciousness and in accessing those parts of you that, for example, your higher self, as we've been doing in this meditation, that can give you these answers, who can point directions, who can give you experiences. Of course, that's what the Light Institute work is about. But let me say something very important first. I work on scientists and all kinds of people who are very, very mind-oriented, talking heads, you might say. And one of the things that I begin with is, it doesn't matter if you believe that there is such a thing as reincarnation, of coming again and again into body. What is true is that your body holds vignettes. It holds stories. We don't know scientifically what triggers emotion, or not emotion, what triggers memories, what triggers imagination. We really don't know the power of imagination. We just know that it influences us emotionally, it influences our lives. And so if you allow your body, your imagination, to show you lifetimes, it will help you to see something that's valuable about what's happening in your life and why now. And that's why I have always done it. When I was young and first doing it, I had people find the records, even if they were hundreds of years old, in church records of the name, etc., to show them that it really is true, that we have many thousands, uncountable incarnations of the soul. I don't care about that. What I care about is that you discover yourself. And I must say that sometimes people are afraid to do incarnational work. And by the way, I don't recommend that you do it by yourself. You have somebody who protects you, who holds the light for you and helps you, guides you to be able to access these incarnations of the soul, which are actually reinventing you all the time. They are part of why you choose this or pull that person to you or magnetize the other. So much of our lives are sourced in deep, deep imprints that we carry lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. But so again, it doesn't matter if you can just relax about, is this true? And I love that you say that, because one of the teachings at the Nijoni School for Global Consciousness and the Light Institute is that there is no one truth. Truth is, as you're saying, what you experience. And I always say, speak your truth, but know that it will change as you experience your life. As you expand your consciousness, what is true for you will change. And we need that very much on the planet at this time, because many of our religious concepts, our political, our cultural concepts are too restrictive. And looking at our soul's journey helps us to expand our consciousness, so that something we thought must be true, we discover is only a part of a story that we had in an experience hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, that can't be a part of where we are now. So what I would say to you is, don't be afraid to let yourself look at some of these things. And I find that fear is a part of this. And often it's because we fear that what we'll see is that we've been the bad guys. Now at the Light Institute, we feel we haven't done a good job unless you see yourself as a bad guy and then see the potential you have. So as you go around the hologram, the interesting thing that I learned about expressing or seeing a lifetime in which you have, done something that you would consider today not helpful or not good. First of all, when you look at that, very often we actually love being the bad guy. Why? Because it releases our judgment of what is good and what is bad. And once you've seen yourself as the Dark Lord, let's say, it frees you from looking out at the world and seeing it all the way around you instead of from inside you. And the work that we do is focused on, it's not just seeing a vignette or a story that you could call an incarnation, but to release it, get rid of it. Even if you were a great healer or a great being or a great spiritual being, release that, because in terms of the laws of energy in the planet, when you release a constriction, the content of a lifetime, it moves out, it's released into the unmanifest. But what happens is, because you accrued that power, even if you misused it or you feel guilty about it, because sometimes something happens that's not really your fault, but you blame yourself, that energy in its pure state comes back to you. And it helps to allow you to use your potential and the power that you have in this lifetime. And this is one of the reasons that I've always loved doing this, is helping people to see that you have gifts that you would never imagine. People are very constricted. What shall I do? What job shall I do? Especially now when you may have lost your job. Imagine the possibility in infinite incarnations, the qualities that you have accrued, the powers that you've accrued that could help you to reinvent your sense of yourself and your place in this planet. So I would say to you, dear friend, it's time for you to allow that seeker energy. The seeker in us is because we know something. We don't seek what we don't know. You know. You have wisdom. You have accrued a connection to your spiritual source that is beyond all of these, again, concepts or philosophies. So I recommend that you charge ahead and let yourself experience. It doesn't matter if it's just a story that comes up. That story will tell you a lot about who you are and how you can use this life Great love and a little cosmic giggle to you. Yes, and the last one, Allison.
Is from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. Dear Chris, do you think the building of cities and massive construction has destroyed the magic of planet Earth and her spirits of nature? I actually feel guilty living in a big city.
Wow, and you are living in a city where our founding fathers sculpted our culture and how we hopefully would live our lives. Some of the guidelines that we can use and do use or might use today. And I love this question because, of course, all over the world, people are moving to the cities, and now some of them are moving back into the country, but the cities are full. And yes, cement seems to seal off the earth, but magic is not tied to the underneath the ground. Magic is free. The difficulty of living in cities is that we become so quick in our reaction to life that we don't notice the trees very much, we don't notice nature very much. It's important to know that magic is linked to nature because the spirits of nature are so powerful and have always been used and misused in terms of what we call magic. Magic is just an energy or an experience or a potential that we have no rational understanding of, no scientific understanding of. And so we call that a miracle, and we might call it magic. And we have misused magic in the past, and so there's a balancing there. But what I would say to you is, it's not an accident that you live in a city. And so you've asked this question, which means that you are ready to use the magic that you can access. And so if you begin in your life to look for magic, you will find it in the air, in the trees, in the flowers, and the people. And don't feel that it is caught or lost in because the cities have covered nature. But rather know that it's part of your purpose to be in a city, to access it yourself, and by accessing it and experiencing it yourself, you will create a ripple that will allow other people to begin to whisper about magic and to find it in ourselves. Again, in the same way we did that exercise for releasing ourselves from anxiety, what about an exercise in consciousness that you could do like this? Where am I holding the potential of magic or the access to magic, magical experiences, magical occurrences, magic that I can participate in? Where is that in my body? Bring your conscious awareness into that place in your body. Dip in and kind of feel that frequency, and then imagine that you could open that encapsulation and let that magical quality flow through your body so that you are telling your cells and you're telling your body that you're not afraid of it, that you want to access it, and that it will be wonderful, and that as you do, you will release that by your own presence. You will release that into the world. That's what movies have been trying to tell us for so long, is to look at that and not just think that it's something special people have, or there are a lot of things about teenagers and galactics having special powers. All of us have magic. And so all you have to do is say yes and give permission to that, and then become aware when something happens synergistically or seems magically to occur, and acknowledge that. So keep doing that exercise in consciousness. Where am I holding magic? Let it flow through me. Let me find what that feels like. Let me exude that into the world. And realize that you and I and all of us are actually magical beings. And that is why you are living in a city, to be one of the ones who supports it, protects it, and releases it. Great love and great magic to you.